Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are digging into the core strategies from Dr. Mike Diamonds, who's both a medical doctor and a professional bodybuilder, on how to finally get rid of that stubborn fat for good.
Okay, let's just jump right into it. We're not talking about the kind of fat you can pinch on your arms or your thighs. Nope, we're talking about something way more sinister, something hiding deep inside your abdomen, literally wrapped around your most vital organs.
And that's exactly why this is so much bigger than just looking good. This is about your health, your longevity. You know, the old advice of just eat less, move more, it just doesn't cut it here. This is a very specific problem that needs a very specific solution.
So here's what you really need to get. This visceral fat isn't just sitting there. It's not passive. It is an active part of your body, and it's constantly pumping out these inflammatory chemicals. You got to think of it like a non-stop internal threat that you have to use a targeted metabolic strategy to shut down.
So how do we do that? Let's get right into the strategy. We're going to start by building the foundation for a total metabolic reset, and it really all boils down to two simple, non-negotiable daily habits. These two things are the bedrock for everything else we're going to talk about.
All right, pillar number one. It's all about making one macronutrient the absolute king of your diet: protein. I mean, there's a reason the original Greek word for it, proteus, literally means of the first rank. Dr. Diamond says this has to be your number one focus, period.
And check this out. Protein basically wages a forefront war on visceral fat. First, it has a high thermic effect, which is just a fancy way of saying your body burns a ton of calories just digesting it. Second, it protects your muscle, which is your body's 24/7 fat-burning engine. Third, it helps fix insulin resistance, which literally unlocks your body's ability to burn that belly fat. And finally, it absolutely demolishes your hunger, keeping you full and satisfied.
So what's the target? It's super simple. Aim for 1 gram of protein for every pound of your goal body weight every single day. And here's the key. Don't eat it all at once. Spread it out over about 4 meals to keep that metabolic fire burning all day long.
And if you're wondering how to do that, Dr. Diamonds has this awesome little cheat code, the 2-6-8-10 method. 2 scoops of whey, 6 ounces of cooked chicken, 8 of steak, or 10 of tuna. Boom. Each one of those gets you right around 50 grams of protein. It takes all the guesswork out of it. Okay, on to our second foundational pillar, which is all about motion. But it's probably not the kind of motion you're thinking of. This isn't about killing yourself in the gym with intense cardio. We are talking about what Dr. Diamonds calls the single most underrated visceral fat destroyer on the entire planet.
And the science on this is just crystal clear. When you do low-intensity cardio, like walking, your body preferentially burns fat for fuel. But when you do high-intensity stuff, like sprinting, it taps into your carb stores. So if visceral fat is your number one enemy, then walking is your number one weapon. It's really that simple.
I know, 15,000 steps sounds like a lot, right? But it's really not that bad if you're smart about it. The secret is something called habit stacking. You just weave walking into things you're already doing. Pace around during your work calls. Walk for a minute between your sets at the gym. Take the family for a walk after dinner. All those little bits add up. And before you know it, you're hitting that number without even thinking about it.
All right, so we've got our foundation set with fuel and motion. Now it's time to pour some gasoline on the fire. We're going to hack the 2 hormones that are basically the master switches for fat storage in your body: cortisol and insulin.
I love this quote from Dr. Diamonds. He says, sleep is like taking your car to the mechanic. You know, you can drive a high-performance car hard all day, but if you never service it, it's eventually just going to break down. That's what you're doing to your body when you skip out on sleep. And just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On one side, you have a well-rested body that's a fat-burning machine, low stress, great insulin sensitivity. On the other side, sleep deprivation creates the absolute perfect storm for storing visceral fat. Your testosterone tanks, your stress hormone cortisol skyrockets, and your body just becomes terrible at handling carbs. Now here's the crazy part. Fixing your sleep doesn't start at night. It actually starts the second you wake up. Getting direct sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning is like hitting a reset button for your body's internal clock. It tells your brain, hey, it's morning, and that sets a timer to release the sleep hormone melatonin about 16 hours later. It's a full 24-hour cycle that you are in complete control of.
Okay, our final hormonal hack is all about timing. It's not about avoiding carbs, it's about being smart about when you eat them. The whole idea here is to work with your body's natural rhythms instead of constantly fighting against them.
So think about it like this. Your body is most sensitive to insulin,
the hormone that processes carbs, in the morning and early afternoon. If you eat your carbs then, they get used for fuel in your muscles. Perfect. But if you eat those exact same carbs late at night, when your body's sensitivity is low, well, that's like a direct signal to your body to store them as visceral fat.
All right, let's talk about the last and maybe most important piece of the puzzle, your mindset. How do we make sure all these hacks stick? Because let's be real, consistency is the only thing that gets you results in the long run.
Now, Dr. Diamonds has a pretty surprising take on the bathroom scale. He says to weigh yourself every day, but, and this is so important, not to judge yourself. The idea is to use it as cold, hard data. It creates this powerful feedback loop that makes you way more aware of how your actions from yesterday are affecting your results today.
And this analogy just nails it. A GPS tells you every single turn to make. A compass just tells you if you're generally headed in the right direction. The scale is your compass. It just lets you know if the trend is going the right way so you can make little course corrections as you go.
This leads us to the biggest question of all, right? Do you have to be miserable and give up everything you love to lose weight? Well, according to Dr. Diamonds, the answer is a huge, emphatic no. In fact, he says that strategically enjoying your favorite foods isn't just okay, it's actually essential for long-term success.
And his cheat more strategy is brilliant. It's just simple math. If you just shave off an extra 100 calories from your daily target, by the end of the week you've banked a 700-calorie surplus. This totally reframes the idea of a cheat meal. It's not a failure anymore. It's a planned, earned reward that you've already budgeted for.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We've talked about the real enemy, that hidden visceral fat. We've built our foundation with protein and walking. We've thrown in the hormonal accelerators of sleep and carb timing. And we've got the mindset for the long haul. So, what's next? Where do you even start?
Look, the biggest mistake you can make is trying to do all of this perfectly starting tomorrow. That's just a recipe for getting overwhelmed and quitting. The real secret to success is to pick just one of these things, just one, and master it. Get your protein right, or get your steps in, or fix your sleep. Build some momentum with that one thing, and then you add the next. So what's it going to be? What's the one habit you're going to own starting tomorrow?